Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody around the world, depending on where you are. We are Cipher Session. I'm Manolo,
Enrique?
Yo,
and we have a great show for you today. We're going to go over some of the weekly news or some news that may be new to you and a little bit old, and we're going to go over the charts as well.
nice. Should I bring up the first piece of
Yeah.
news?
Go for
Or
it,
actually,
dude.
the first chart?
Yeah, let's get into the charts. So I wanted to give you guys a nice broad view of what I am seeing in Bitcoin in particular. So I do want to give credit to the start of this. As you see, the bottom range and the top trend line, those two yellow lines. Um, to credit to Brian Beamish just for making me aware of this. So we're pretty much trading between the about $30,000 range, more like 26, because this is the Heikin-Ashi chart, which smooths everything out. You see clear green candles and clear red candles signifying trend reversals. We're set to range between about 26 and about $80,000. It's a trader's, like, you know, it's heaven. You have a lot of money that could be made here. Currently, we are seeing a trend reversal on the weekly. Market Cipher also gave me a green dot signifying a buy signal. However, I'd like to see the chart again and show you guys that we have 3 days left for the week to complete. The the candle that we are currently in for this week is not the most bullish, right? And what we would like to see is for us to break past the $46,000 mark for this week, and we still have 3 days to go. Unfortunately, last time that I looked at the charts, we're at 40,000. So we still have a little bit of indecision, but indicating the movement is indicating that we're on an upward trend. So it's kind of like hurry up and wait. We want further clarification of what this thing is doing, maybe before you enter into a trade, not financial advice. And, you know, if you take a line from that last run that we had and we extend it onto the present moment down to where it may hit, we could easily hit and break all-time highs at about 70K mid-May. Sounds nice coming off the tongue. That would be about 112 days from now, 16 weeks. So, that is a nice thing to see, even though on the weekly, people may be getting a little nervous, but always the cliche is when in doubt, zoom out, and you'll see that we've been having higher lows and also higher highs on the weekly. So I'd like to leave you with those inspiring words and a little
Can,
hopium.
can I interject just with one question, just for the
Sure.
viewers?
Yeah.
So we're looking to finish, hopefully, the weekly at 46K. Um,
Yes.
so what happens if we go? What are your expectations if we go above 46K or if we fall below it?
So I mean, I'd have to like run my Fibonacci's and off the top, I could say if we continue this bullish run, we could expect 50K sometime
Nice.
soon.
Okay.
But if we start to break down, we just want to kind of watch it. I wouldn't panic so long we don't break market structure, meaning that lower level that we have already said goodbye to, we don't want to return to that level. Once if we could go back to that chart real quick.
Yeah,
So
1 second.
and I'll let you guys see what I mean by market structure. So you're going to see a trend of green lines, right? When you see a trend of green lines switch over to a trend of red lines, that's a break in market structure, right? So as soon as you see it
So
kind of,
sorry. So
yeah.
so I'm sorry. Just so that the viewers following us, when you say the green and then the break, by looking at the chart, what point are you referencing specifically? Like if we go back to the chart, when you say that break, where are we talking?
So if you see the word market cipher at the bottom,
Yup.
right? So we touched that yellow line. That's like we're breaking market structure right there as soon as it turned green.
Okay.
And now we went from a downtrend now going into an uptrend.
Perfect.
Right.
Okay.
And that midpoint right there, it kind of broke structure, but it continued going up. So that's I really won't continue consider
midpoint. The midpoint is which? Which would be
that.
the midpoint?
That red thick line,
Gotcha.
which is now the line that we want to break past in order to continue this trend this week. Now, even if we don't necessarily break that trend this week, just off of principle, like I would like to at least end the week above the midpoint of last week's candle. And that would still be, kind of crawling, but we're moving upwards at least. But
so where would that put us in that?
So let me just because it'll be easier if I look at my own chart here. I know I cannot share that, but let me just open this here and then I'll get a clear answer for you guys. So if I switch over from Heikin-Ashi, because you just have to, Heikin-Ashi candles just makes everything a lot smoother instead of seeing red, green. And that does affect the price on the chart. So I would say we want to end the week at minimum above 43,800.
Okay.
That's minimum. That's like, come on, do something for me at least. If you're not going to tip me, at least pay the bill. So we just want them, if we're using that analogy, we just want the bill to be paid. You don't want to tip us, okay, that's fine. But for over 46 would definitely, let us know that Bitcoin has provided excellent service, worthy of a tip, and on to the next meal.
Love it. Perfect.
And so, yeah, all in all, it's looking decent.
We got some good news to, make you feel a little extra bullish too.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get right
we
into
got some
it.
Stories.
Let's go 1 second. First up, we have some bullish news. We have the state of Colorado is going to accept crypto for tax payments by the end of the summer. This is pretty huge news. We haven't really seen this kind of adoption on a state level yet. So it makes me very bullish. And, I think we started with like companies and, different organizations accepting Bitcoin or crypto. And now to see a state, accepting crypto for tax payments, I think is pretty huge. I mean, I don't know who would want to pay for.
I was gonna say
for taxes with Bitcoin, but still, we'll take it.
But
right?
Yeah, that's some kind of adoption.
Love it.
Yeah.
With that, there's I think my initial thoughts would be like, I think it's a great approach, because of the fact that you can see that there's obviously a thought process behind the fact that cryptocurrencies, not mentioning Bitcoin, not mentioning Ethereum or any other one of the coins, but just the fact that some cryptos that are viewed as currencies, quote unquote, would be able to facilitate these other types of payments, right? There's a lot of other conversations in the pipelines where they're talking about the fact that there's so much segregation, even within the United States of America, within border payments, So like the state of New York, New Jersey, California, and all these states have different ways that they apply rules of payments.
Mhm.
And so how can we fine tune that? And I think when Brian Brooks was at the OCC, he made some good points where he was trying to make it so that various states can kind of charter and communicate in the same language, if you will. So I think it's good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Manolo? You want to add something?
I actually saw on, got to check my sources, but on Instagram, I saw that Ukraine actually legalized crypto. And, that just is further bullish news. Aside from, we know that Russia, after saying crypto no good, now they're saying crypto is good. So we're just seeing a lot more countries adopt, states becoming more crypto friendly, and just very bullish.
Nice. Next piece. Let's do it. E, you want to talk a little bit about this one?
Never seen this article. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So this is JP Morgan is betting that the metaverse will be a $1 trillion opportunity. And so JP Morgan bought space in Decentraland in a place called Meta Junkie Mall. And so you have other companies like Walmart, Nike, Disney, Warner Music that are entering the metaverse space. There's artists that are looking to create concerts within the metaverse. And it just goes to show, right? We had Graham on the show last week. And one of the things that Graham said, not necessarily on our show, but one of the things that he's been quoted saying before is the fact that he thinks that anything in the physical world will eventually be tokenized, right? And that's a very deep concept if you think about it. So, just think about the fact that you have a television now, right? And then you have a Samsung TV, you buy a space in the metaverse, and that Samsung TV is tokenized. And so you can use that TV to watch things when you're in the metaverse, right? You own a plot of land and that all applies. It's almost like a direct translation. I think there's going to be other things that apply. Real estate in the metaverse is kicking up. And so people are already starting to buy a lot of these plots where they think there's going to be a lot of foot traffic in the metaverse. And it's just so fascinating to see, right? People are already spending money buying real estate in an area that exists in the imagination, but that'll eventually become a reality. So I think that a 1 trillion space in the metaverse, I think it's a little undervalued. I think if everything eventually becomes tokenized, then 1 trillion is low and we can reach a larger market cap for that. But it's just another document that just goes to prove the fact that this space is just accelerating exponentially, right? Was having a conversation with Manolo on our personal messaging space, and he was emphasizing the fact that he thinks the space, and Manolo, I'll let you just jump in, where he thinks the space is going to evolve so quickly. And I gave a little pushback and I was like, well, you know what? It may take longer than that. But now when you just see the way that things are unfolding, like his horizon just makes so much more sense. So yeah, I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Yeah. But... well, it's like, we have the same excitement and bullishness in crypto as a whole. It's more like we just different timelines. It's more, we know we're going to get there. Yeah. It's just, how are we going to get there? And that's, that's perfectly fine because nobody really knows. But how I look at it is, I believe that, so Moore's law, and please people correct me in the comment section. But
I love Moore's law.
I believe it's like the first 10% happens in a given amount of time, and then the rest of the 90% happens in that same amount of time. So it's taken about 12, 13 years for us to get to this close to 1 trillion. Right now, we're at 770 billion market cap just for Bitcoin. So given that same amount of time, we should be getting to about 90% growth in the amount of time that it took us to get here. So with that in mind, I just think with the looming singularity, the idea of us getting to a certain point where everything, technology just converges and kind of gets to a fast growth, accelerated pace. I just think that crypto could hit, in particular, the metaverse could hit wide scale adoption. I was saying about a quarter of the world's population immersed into the metaverse by, within 5 years.
Nice.
And so, just some darts getting thrown at the wall, see what sticks. And it's fun to, speculate.
Love it.
I think it's hella bullish, man, because if you look back, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, was anti-crypto not too long ago. And all of a sudden, now JP Morgan has a lounge in the metaverse. It's pretty bullish.
Watch what they do. Watch what they do, not what they say.
Yes,
my man,
sir.
Warren Buffett.
Say one more time. People in the back.
All right. My man, Warren Buffett, called Bitcoin something like rat poison.
Yeah, exactly. Him and Charlie Munger.
And now, we see that they have investments with heavily invested crypto companies, and intertwined and meshed and
Well, I think it's they. I think when I see comments like cryptocurrency is rat poison, right? It's so general that you don't really know what they're talking about, right? They could be talking about something in particular within the crypto space that has nothing to do with the future evolution or the progression of cryptocurrency, right? Because to your point, right, you see Berkshire Hathaway doing a lot of things where they're investing in companies in Japan that have ties into that, right? They have Bank of America, which ties into Ripple. And so they're doing a lot of things. And then you think about Moja Loop with Bill Gates and the Melania Foundation and how Ripple helped build that. And the Moja Loop is helping to bank the unbanked. And Bill Gates and Warren Buffett are friends. Again, not jumping to any conclusions. But
Trumors, baby, Trumors.
I like the Trumors, baby.
Trumors.
Absolutely.
Curious. It's just a curious thing.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on the head honchos of investing, let's go to the next piece of news. And I believe Manolo wants to bring us in.
Take a shot at that. All right. So this is a story, beincrypto.com. Beincrypto.com, right? They're talking about ARK Invest. If our viewers are not aware, this is a fund managed by Kathy Wood. A paper named Big Ideas Research Report was released January 25th, where she and her company are projecting a $1 million Bitcoin by 2030 and a $180,000 Ethereum, I believe it is, in the story. So looking at the numbers, right, that would mean that the market cap for Bitcoin would get to 28.5 trillion. That's what they're projecting.
28.5.
Okay. That is a growth of 3,600% from now to 2030. And so this is how they came, to that conclusion. This is everything that they see as a use case for Bitcoin. Bitcoin as digital gold, and they see, the market cap surpassing that of gold. Corporate treasury. So, if only 5% of the cash in S&P 500 companies are invested in Bitcoin that would be adding to this entire move. Institutional investment, if 2.55% of institutions use it as an asset base, due to the fact that it is a seizure-resistant asset. Of course, if you have your own wallet, accounting 5% of the money that would flow into this asset of Bitcoin. If 1% of nation state treasury total reserves go into Bitcoin, economic settlement network, if 25% of the US bank settlement volumes use Bitcoin, if the emerging market currency, if 10%, excluding the top 4 countries, get into Bitcoin, and also the use case of Bitcoin as a remittance network, which I'm sure, a lot of XRP heads would have something to say about this, but
I'm ready to go.
Right. So, 50% of global remittances at a 1.5x velocity. And, I was watching the Max Kaiser show earlier today, and they were talking about the Lightning Network.
He's not a Bitcoin maxi at all.
Not at all. He just likes orange sneakers. And he was interviewing a lady down in, I believe, El Salvador, and talking about how they're using the Lightning Network for, its speed. A little bit over my pay grade. I don't know how to merge these things, but yeah, the Lightning Network I'm aware of. I just don't know how to do it. But yeah, so very, very, very bullish news coming from Cathie Wood and her people at ARK Invest. Just notable facts that,
And by the way, I'm going to play devil's advocate after this.
Absolutely, because I think that's much needed, because, we have to kind of test the metal of these statements, because, of course, her being heavily invested in cryptos, she would be kind of shooting herself in the foot, saying, yeah, it's going to probably just double by 2040. Right. Yeah. So she definitely has to make a case, but there's $450 trillion in the form of assets, bonds, stocks, and cash worldwide. Yeah. So, 28.5 trillion, is that feasible? That's what, like 1/16th by, if that, 1/18th, 1/16th of the total assets worldwide. That's, not including real estate. But so if we include real estate, there's a whole lot more there that could be added to liquidity, I guess. But huge growth potential. And so I just wanted, for a perspective of how much money is sitting that could possibly be transferred to this asset. I think it's reasonable, so long as, Bitcoin continues to do what many believe it does, and it's claimed to do, and it's shown to do up until this point. And if the stars aligned with, us not blowing ourselves up, and he's got the devil there whispering.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think.
Take it away.
Let's hear some.
No.
Darts.
It's only when I think about it, right? And nothing against Bitcoin or Ethereum per se, right? But when I think about networks, I think about the most important thing about a network is their ability to scale up, is their scalability, right? And so whenever you see a network like Bitcoin or Ethereum that either operate on proof of work or proof of stake, your initial thought that comes to mind is, as Ethereum and Bitcoin gain in price, right? Obviously their market cap increases, but as market cap increases, that means that user interface increases. And so that means that the network usage increases. And so you create congestion on the network, right? And so if we look at where these two technologies are today in terms of market cap, and then we look at something like Ethereum, where it is today in terms of market cap, and then we think about Ethereum at a $200,000 price range, how do you scale up at proof of work, right? So there has to be something drastic that changes within these technologies in order for them to be able to, right? Because if you think of proof of stake, right? Ethereum right now is mainly proof of stake. So it's dominated by people that are putting their Ethereum network, staking it on the network. And you can run into a lot of issues when you have proof of stake, right? Because at 51%, you're the majority of the stake network. And at that point, you can corrupt the network, if you will, right? And so there's a lot of things that go into consider. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying that it won't happen or that it can't happen, but I started reading Peter Thiel's book the other day, and he goes into breaking down the way that you would evaluate a company that you're going to invest in, right? And one of the things is you have to be able to look out, right? Where is that company today? Who are their competitors? And are they 10x in front of their competitors in terms of capturing that market, right? I think if we go back to that, do I think that Bitcoin will be able to capture the store of value? Without a doubt, right? That in itself was like, I don't remember what it is, but that in itself is trillions of dollars, right? But when you get into remittance, when you get into all of these things, right, what you're doing is you're increasing the usage in the network. And even the Lightning Network right now, the Lightning Network, hands down, is super fast, right? And it can handle a lot of transactions, but it's not scalable. And so does it do what it can do now because of the amount of traffic that it has on the network? Yeah. Right. But what happens when you scale that 10x, right? So now just think about that chart, and you're trying to capture all of that. How are you doing that in a proof of work or proof of stake environment, right? So the scalability has to be there. So either there has to be a shift in technology, or there has to be something that allows these technologies to scale up. Do I think that like Bitcoin is solid? I think that Bitcoin is a store of value. Do I think that it's going to shoot up in price? I think it will, just because of the fact that there's going to be a point where potentially, and again, not financial advice, right? Do we get to a point where there's super inflation and then there's gold, and you have some of the older heads hedging with gold, and then you have some of the younger heads that maybe never invested in gold hedging with Bitcoin? 100%, right? And then as we evolve, if Johan, because I know him, I see him scheming on moving to Costa Rica, right? If he moves to Costa Rica with the tons of gold he has in his apartment, he can't just.
I got none. Don't come to me.
I'm kidding. He can't put that on a plane and take it, right? So you have to be able to be mobile. So I think that these technologies are all evolving, but I think that like when I think of cryptocurrencies, I think of like every cryptocurrency is going to have a niche. I don't think there's going to be one particular winner, right?
I agree.
So if you hedge all your cash on one horse,
right?
Can you make bread? You could probably make bread, right? But to say that there's going to be one coin that captures the real estate, the FX, the derivatives, cross-border remittance, P2P payments, like
give me that butter.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What I mean?
Gotta butter the bread.
Exactly. It's not gonna be possible. And so there's gonna be a few crypto companies that I think compass that, right? And then also you have to have network effects, right? Because like even if you think of central bank digital currencies, and a lot of these central banks, and sorry that I'm rambling, my bad, but you have these central banks that are going to come up with central bank digital currencies, right? But how are the central bank digital currencies going to interact with one another in a seamless way, right? You're going to need something that's going to have
a side chain.
Right. Or like, let's just call it, I don't know, for lack of a better words, a bridge asset, right?
Oh,
something that's going to be able to link things, right? And so overall, I think that central bank digital currencies aren't going to go away, but they're going to have to operate, and they're going to have to be able to interact in a way where just think of the future. Think of like 10 years from now. and your ability to send money anywhere within the States or across the world without any restrictions, as long as you're, for the most part, KYC compliant, just being able to send money to anybody, right? You meet a pen pal, right? Manolo, you're going to be traveling to abroad and you meet a pen pal and you want to send the pen pal a little chump change. How are you going to get it to him, right? Right now, you can't Venmo it, right? So we're going to have to be able to right now drop these wall gardens and get to a place where remittance across the world is going to be seamless. How do we get there? I think it's going to be various cryptocurrencies. I think Bitcoin is going to play a major part. I don't know if it's going to play a major part when it comes to remittance, right?
Yeah,
only because of scalability.
Agree.
But
I agree. Like if I owe you $10, like, is Bitcoin what we're going to use to interact,
right,
and transmit those $10?
Right.
I don't. That kind of goes against what many people consider Bitcoin to be, which is a store of value. Like, why would you want to? I'm going to send you an 18th of a gold, like 1 gram of gold in the mail. Like now you have to go through the trouble of transferring it to something that you actually want to spend.
Exactly.
But
that was my devil's advocate, but that's all I got.
Yeah. But also, this is what I wanted to say. We all want Bitcoin to go up as soon as possible. That's going to bring the rest of the market up with it. But it's like we have to be careful what we wish for, because what happens if we get a $400,000 Bitcoin by December, right? What does that mean? Like, then more than likely we have like $50 loaves of bread. Like, what is the scenario and the space that's setting up?
Very good
for
point.
such a big move in such a short amount of time. So,
very good
just
point.
Some things to consider.
I dig it. I don't know. I think the beauty of crypto is we don't know. I think we speculate these things, and as last year showed us, that 100K Bitcoin never came, and a lot of people were calling for it. So that's the beauty of it. We all don't know, and everyone's just trying to, make the puzzle fit, if you will.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, I think that's all the tape we got for today. Manolo, you want to bring us out?
All right, guys. Glad that you're with us. Please like, share, subscribe, leave any comments, questions, any show ideas. Do you have a favorite coin? What is it? Do you want us to cover it? Let us know. Or who would you like us to interview? Let us know.
Ooh.
Have a great weekend. Peace.
Cipher out.